We all want to get more done, but most of us don't have time to do it. With work, family, and friends pulling you in different directions every day, how can you possibly prioritize your work without letting the rest of your life fall by the wayside? We resort to working harder as we believe this is the only way we can possibly get more done and be more productive, often leading us to burnout and unhappiness.
Who works harder? The people at eBay or the people at Alibaba?
Sometimes you have not only have to work hard, you have to work smart.
So would you say you work smarter than eBay? I'd have to say yes, right?
Well, so far.
Yeah, so far.
I've done a lot of research on this topic, and most studies show that people don't even work a full 8 hours a day. Like if you really break it down and pay attention, most people are only productive for like a max 2 hours a day. And then the other 6 hours, we're distracted, we're on social media, we're looking at email, we're doing all kinds of things except being productive. The whole culture of working nonstop, personally, I believe it's toxic. I believe it's counterproductive, and I don't believe it's the way of the future. So you have this opportunity right now to really work smarter and not harder. You have to detoxify yourself from all of those ideas about working nonstop because you don't have to. And I think the most important thing for you to do is to really decide for you what's most important.
The myth of the harder I work, the more productive I will be has been debunked by the science.
If you want to be more productive and get more done and enjoy the process, then working smarter, not harder, may be the answer. So here are 5 tips to work smarter, not harder. So the very first tip is to highlight your most important tasks. So every week I outline 3 of the most important tasks I need to focus on in that particular week. And I can then break down these MITs into further tasks that I need to do on a daily basis. Now these MITs then act as my guiding posts throughout the day and the week. So anytime I deviate from them or start doing redundant tasks, I can always recalibrate and get back on track pretty quickly. And because of these MITs, I can immediately spot if a task that I am doing is important or me just procrastinating to get out of doing the tasks that I really need to. Now, when you set your MITs for the day, for the week, and for the month, this allows you to work smarter because you're spending less time on busy work that makes you feel productive, but it's actually just you procrastinating. So tip number 2 is that multitasking is a myth. Now, I've spoken about this in many videos before, but if you want to work smarter, then do not multitask. There's actually a productivity law known as Carlson's law, which states that all interrupted work is less effective and takes more time than uninterrupted work. So when you switch from one project to another or one task to another, there is time lost during this switching process. Now, each time you switch, you need to re-engage with the task, refocus, and get back into the rhythm and stop your mind from drifting into other things. This constant context switching causes you to lose focus as well as valuable time that you could otherwise use to work smarter and get through a task quicker. So if you want to be more productive, then stick to one task at a time and only move on to the next one once you've completed that one. Okay, so the next tip I have for you is to work in time blocks. A strategy that I use, which I find extremely effective, is the Pomodoro technique. Now, the Pomodoro technique is a time management system that utilizes time blocks as well as a timer. The technique gets its name from the Italian word pomodoro, which means tomato. The technique consists of working in 25-minute work blocks and taking a 5-minute break after each block. So essentially you work through these 25-minute blocks, then take a break, and then repeat the cycle as many times as you want. The whole premise behind this technique is that you will be more productive during this high focus 25-minute slot, and then you're allowed to take a 5-minute break rather than doing long work sessions which can tire you out. Often what happens is when we continuously work for a long period of time, we end up procrastinating and losing focus. So even though we may have worked for 3 hours straight, we may only have been productive for 30 minutes of that particular time slot, and the rest was just either busy work or we were just procrastinating. The Pomodoro technique allows you to fully focus for a set amount of time on one particular task and then take a break to relax your mind before returning to deep focus stage once again. Okay, so the next tip we have is to set short deadlines. Setting a shorter window for tasks to be completed can greatly help in working smarter rather than harder. Now, Parkinson's law states that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion, which means that if you have a task to complete in a particular amount of time, it will take you that time to complete it. So if you have a task to do in a week, it will take you a week to complete it. And if you have a task to complete by next year, then next year is when it will get done. Now, this can be great if that's what you want, but we want to work smarter and work out how long it takes to get a task done and only spend that amount of time on it. This is why setting shorter deadlines can be important, because often we give a task too much time when in fact it would take less time to complete it. This takes time away from other things that we could be doing. Okay, so moving on to the next tip, which is to batch your tasks. Now, this is related to the previous tip I mentioned about multitasking. When you have lots of different tasks to do throughout the day and you're switching from one to another, this can tire you out. So to work smarter, just like batch cooking your meals, we can batch our tasks together to make sure we're only working on related tasks at one particular time. When you batch or theme your work sessions, you can focus on one project or task rather than shifting your focus frequently. You can even take this further and set theme days. So let's say if you're running a blog, then you can have a day of idea generation and keyword research. So all you do on that day will be finding ideas for your blog and, researching keywords that you can use for those blog posts. Then you may have a day of writing where all you do is write out your blog posts and that's it. You don't do anything else related to your blog. So that's how you can use batching your tasks to work smartly rather than working harder. That is all for this video, guys. Here's another one which will show you how to be more productive. So go check it out and take care. Bye-bye.